Hello, my name is Vid, and today I'm going to make a short video about this guy, the Comparator. This guy. There are two ways to use this comparator. There's the hard way and there's the easy way. I'm going to show you the complex terminologies and methodologies behind using the comparator first, and then I'm going to show you what 90% of redstone contraptions actually use at the end. Most people think of redstone as either on or off, but there's actually a whole series of values to redstone that start at 15 and go all the way down to 0. I've installed a resource pack that lets me see the signal level of each piece of redstone dust. Here at the redstone torch, you can see the maximum output is 15. It goes down to 14, to 13, to 12, to 11, to 10, to 9, and then it goes into the comparator. And the output of the comparator is also 9. And then 8, then 7, then 6. So basically, whatever the value that goes into the comparator is the same value that comes out. The reason this fancy gadget is called a comparator is because it's able to compare the signal coming into the back to another signal coming in from the side. You can pass a signal in from either side, and it works exactly the same way. So I'm just going to use the signal from one side for demonstration purposes. Here, the signal coming into the back is at 9. Because the signal coming into the side is 8, or something less than the signal coming in from the back, it passes the signal through exactly the same as if there was no signal coming into the side. So 9 passes through and becomes 9 again. On the other hand, if we were to increase the signal level up to something higher than the signal coming in from the back, in this case 13, it immediately turns the comparator off and the output is 0. But that is just one of the modes of this fancy comparator. We still have one more mode before we get to the easy stuff. The second mode of the comparator is called subtract mode, and you can access it just by right-clicking on the comparator. The light turns on when there's no signal attached to it to show you that it's in subtract mode. With no signal coming into the side, the output of the comparator is exactly the same as the input of the comparator, just like in the standard mode. So a 9 in becomes a 9 out. The subtraction part happens when we introduce a signal into the side which is less than the signal coming in from the back. Here we have a signal of 9 coming into the back and a signal of 4 coming into the side. Can you guess what's going to happen? That's right, the output is 5, which is 9 subtract 4 for a total of 5. And as you might guess, if we increase the signal above the level that's coming in from the back, the output is 0. Now that you have a basic understanding of how the comparator works, let's show you how it's really used in most redstone circuits. The most common way the comparator is used is to read the output of the contents of a chest. Here you can see that the chest is empty, and that's why the comparator is showing a 0 output level. As soon as I put a single item in, well, now we have a very small output signal, so a level of 1. The more items in the chest, the higher the output signal. Here you can see the level is 14 because I don't have all the items in the chest. When I add the final stack of items, now the signal goes up to 15 because the chest is full. The cool thing about this is that you can read the value of the chest right through a block. In this way, you can typically hide the comparator behind a wall so that only the chest is visible, for instance. And of course, all of the same comparator functions still work when reading the contents of a chest. For example, here I have one item short of a full chest, so I'm getting an output signal of 14. But if I feed a signal of 15 into the side, the comparator turns off and outputs a signal of 0 unless the chest is full. So when I place that last item in, our signal jumps from 0 directly up to 15. It's interesting to note here that the size of the container does actually matter. For example, here I have a full double chest outputting a signal of 15. Here I have a full single chest also outputting a signal of 15. And over here I have a full hopper also outputting a signal of 15. So if the container is full, the signal output will always be 15, regardless of the size of the container. I promised you the easy stuff, and here it is. This is 90% of the way that I use comparators. Set up your comparator to monitor the output of a single inventory. Now, put a repeater after the comparator. If a single item ends up inside the inventory, the comparator will turn on and the repeater will turn on, and this is an output level at maximum strength. You can use this repeater output to turn off a farm or manage any sort of redstone contraption that relies on monitoring whether or not an item has been placed into that inventory. If you prefer to monitor when an inventory starts losing items, you can use the compare feature of the comparator. Simply feed in a signal into the side of the comparator. Now, when the inventory starts to lose items, the comparator will turn off. You can even invert this signal using a block and a torch so that when items start to drain from this hopper, the torch goes on. If you've gotten this far, it means you know everything there is to know about comparators. I hope that these circuits help you with your redstone contraptions in the future. My name is Vid, and I will see you in the next episode.